Hi guys, and welcome back to the Oasis, and I'm Bianca. As you can tell by the title, today we will be doing a video in honor of Pride Month, which has already happened. But I tried to film this video numerous times, and I just didn't like it. I didn't. I felt like it wasn't really giving what it needed to give. So I feel like I'm too in my head about the situation, so I'm just gonna give it to you guys how it happened. Hopefully you guys can keep up with me. I am an overthinker, and so overthinkers tend to jump in their brain from one situation to the next, so bear with me. This story is weird for me to tell just because it's not really something I think I've ever actually spoke about out loud outside of therapy. Okay? But recently me and my mother had a conversation, and it prompted me even more to share this story. I thought about whether I even was going to do it or not after the initial filming and not liking it, but after the conversation I had with my mother, I felt like this story needed to be told. Only because there are so many other people who have gone through things as well, and I want you to feel free to share your story in the comments as well, because there are other people who are going through things. There are people out here who are still going through it, and if we can be an outlet for them, why shouldn't we be? So, my first kiss. I was younger. I grew up with my grandmother in Georgia, and I'm from Georgia. If you didn't already know that. I grew up with my grandmother because my mother was in the military, and so when she was gone, we would be with my grandmother. My grandfather, whom I know as my pawpaw, he used to have a friend whom is an older lady who also had 2 grandchildren that lived with her. I grew up with my uncle and my sister as well. My sister is a little bit older than me, and her and my uncle are close in age. We're all close in age, but I'm definitely the youngest. But we used to go and hang out with her older grandson and her younger granddaughter. I used to be best friends with her granddaughter. We would all hang out, but me and her would hang out the most. Nothing weird. For all you creeps out there waiting on something weird to happen. Ain't nothing weird about to happen over her. So we just, play regular stuff, make mud pies, all the basic stuff. Dolls, stuff like that. Well, one day, I can't really remember how it happened. Like I said, it's been a really long time. I'm old now. I can't remember how it happened, but all I know is that she kissed me. And I for sure kissed her back. But the thing is that, I guess the thing that would be weird is the fact that it wasn't weird. It seemed completely normal. Although I didn't know people who liked the same sex, I had never actually met anyone who was in a relationship with someone of the same sex. I didn't know people who I didn't know that it was weird or wrong either, I guess, which it isn't. But I wasn't told that I couldn't like somebody who was a girl. I mean, I don't know. My grandmother never said I couldn't. I don't recall my mom ever saying it either. I don't. But I think it was just one of those unspoken rules. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. It's one of those unspoken rules that we think is a rule, but really it shouldn't be a rule. From there, I don't recall us ever kissing again. Like I said, it's been a long time. I don't really remember, but she's my best friend. Our relationship was for sure different after that, though. Different in a good way. I think that if there were ever a classification for a girlfriend, she was my first girlfriend. She was my first relationship. Weird little kids, yeah. But I mean, it was an innocent thing though. It was an innocent relationship, like hold hands or just hug. I don't know. Spend more time together. I don't know. You get it. We didn't do anything though. Like it was just that kiss. I grew up definitely boyish. I guess you could say. I still am. I still got a vibe that is just real bro. But my uncle and his friends used to hang out, and I used to hang out with them a lot. He would always let me just hang out with them. And him and his friends, being males, they like females. And I, looking back on it now, I think that I felt like I needed to be a boy, because I actually used to think I was supposed to be a boy. It's funny. I used to always tell myself that I think I was supposed to be a boy. I was for sure supposed to be a boy. I would get my hair braided back in cornrows. I would only wear pants. I did not do skirts or dresses unless my grandmother made me. But that was pretty much me all the time. I hung out with boys all the time. And it was because they would be around girls and they didn't judge me. Like my uncle and his friends, they didn't make me feel weird for liking girls. Which later in life, my uncle actually told me that he knew. He was like, it was obvious. But I think that I thought I needed to be a boy to like a girl. That is just a current realization that I've gotten, is that I never felt like I was comfortable or safe enough to like a girl unless I was a boy. Like boys are supposed to like girls. At least that's how I was brought up to think. And so when I got, the older I got, obviously I started to realize that girls could like girls. It wasn't something that people would applaud all the time, but girls could like girls. I said, it wasn't really something I could turn off though. Like you can't turn off who you are. And this is who I was. But I knew not to tell nobody. Like, I dated girls secretly for years. And it was hard. It was hard. It's hard being out there or in there by myself. My sister always knew. And she would always encourage me to be who I was, which I appreciate that. I don't know if my sister watches my channel. If you watched my last story time, yeah, I will talk about that some other time. But thank you for that, for always letting me or encouraging me to be me. But we're gonna fast forward to I want to say I was about 13. We were in the car, me, my mom, and my sister, and my sister outed me. I would always drop little hints here and there to see how my mom felt about a little hot water stuff. I would joke around and say, oh, she's hot, or she's hot, and just to see. And my sister would kind of go along with it just to kind of feel my mom out, to see how she, how she react to it. And she didn't really have much of a reaction, so that made me feel a little good. I was like, oh, she ain't tripping. My mom's cool too, because she was just like, yeah, she is. She's sexy. Which made it cool, okay? It made it easier to start feeling like maybe I can be me. Maybe I can be me. Either way, one day in the car, my sister outed me. Can't really remember how she said it. She just came out and said it. So, do remember that, because it was like a freezing time. Like everything just like froze. Honestly. She said it, and once she said it, it was out. Like, there was no going back. But it got awkward in the car. My mom got quiet. She didn't look in my direction. I got quiet. I didn't want to look over there at her and see how she was feeling. My sister was talking, and then she got quiet because I guess she realized we were quiet. And eventually the subject changed. I couldn't wait to get home to hide because I was just like, I was mad at her because I was like, it wasn't hers to tell. But I was also relieved because I felt like that was going to be the start of me not having to hide anymore. Not having to pretend anymore. I mean, a little time went by and it was obvious that my mom thought it was a phase. I would start doing things and saying things to make myself more comfortable in being who I was around my mom, and she was just giving off it's a phase vibe. And she even said it recently when we spoke that she thought it was a phase, which I think is every parent's first reaction. But that made it harder, to be honest. A part of me was like, I kind of wish I had never said it, had never gotten said, because I never said nothing. But I wish it had never gotten said, just because then I could still pretend. You can't keep pretending if you can't keep pretending when once it's out there. Once something like that's been said, you can't go back. Well, I tried to go back. Fast forward a little bit more time, and in middle school I had met a friend. There was a girl that was getting she was getting picked on because she was small. And anybody who knows me know I don't go for stuff like that. Like, you're not gonna pick on nobody around me. And so I defended her, and that's all she wrote. Like, we were best friends ever since then. That was 7th grade. So by by 8th grade, we were pretty much inseparable. Whenever we did have class together, we hung out and everything. If you are not familiar with back in the day, whenever you would have a binder, what you put on your binder in the front of your binder defined how cool you were. I was never cool. I barely had friends. But I used to draw my own artwork and put it in there. I had art twice a day because I also had a gifted art class at the end of the day. When everybody else had to do an extra math class or history, I had art, which was so great because it was just free art. We could do whatever we want as long as it was art. But the whole binder thing is what started everything. But I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself. When I had strings class, I used to play cello, and it was a small class, but the girls in there would talk about, this is the first I had ever heard of people actually discussing this topic amongst one another. They used to talk about sexuality, being lesbians and being bisexual and dating girls, and it was just cool because, like I said, I had never actually been around other people who felt, it was a private feeling what I felt. Like, I never shared it with anyone other than my sister. So by the time I got back to my regular class, I don't know what, it started getting around to like regular classes as well, to the point where my friend brought up the subject. I can't remember how it got brought up necessarily, but she brought it up, and she asked me about it, and she asked me if I like girls, and I told her that I did. And that was the first time I had told anybody else outside of, my sister and my mom. And the girls in my strings class. Because I had also told my friend Taylor. And, Taylor was actually the first lesbian friend I had ever had. Taylor is currently has currently transitioned, and he's fine. Like, but yeah, he's fine. But I'm so happy for him. Like, beyond happy. Okay. But yeah, at the time, Taylor was my only lesbian friend. And Taylor made me feel comfortable being who I was. And we became best friends. So much so that we actually dated. One of my best relationships, hands down. I kid you not. And had I never moved, I hope that we would have still been together. Like, but that's besides the point. Either way, my friend that had gotten back to my friend, and I told her the truth about how I was into girls, and she didn't make me feel weird about it. That's the thing, she didn't. I had actually had another friend, I'm not going to get into that, who I had told back when. I don't count her, but she automatically assumed I was telling her that because I was trying to come on to her. That's one of the things I hate the most about coming out to people, especially girls, is because they automatically assume you're saying it because you're trying to get at that you like them. No. But she didn't do that. I'm not going to say her name. It's really hard trying to tell it without saying her name, but she didn't do that. She didn't assume that I said it because I liked her. And it wasn't weird after that. It's pretty much we never spoke about it again after that. And it was supposed to be just between us, which it was. A new girl came to our school, fast forward. This girl was not nice. She wasn't nice at all, so much so that she got in trouble her first day at school. She got into an incident her first day there. She was not a good girl. I'm trying to figure out how the whole thing started with her and my friend, is ex-friend. They started to become friends, and I was okay with that. I know people are like, well, this is where the jealousy kicked in. You were jealous because she had another friend. No. I had other friends as well. So I was okay. That's what I always wanted, because we weren't going to always be together. And so when we weren't around each other, I wanted her to have other people to hang out with, which she did. But this girl just wasn't a nice girl. She wasn't. She was using her, because this comes back to the binder situation where you get binder art. She used to print off stuff for me to put in my binder, and I would draw her stuff to put in hers. And she would always print off really cool, sparkly Disney stuff and stuff like that. And these girls started to use her for the stuff that she could make them and print off for them. I know this seems so juvenile, and it was. But that's just how they thought back then. Eventually, the relationship started to become obvious leech vibes. Like she was just leeching off of her. She was using her for what she could do for her. And because she was bigger than her, I think it was more of an intimidation factor. My friend was so desperate to have friends though that she thought that that was how she needed to become friends, because a whole bunch of other girls started to use her for the same thing, and she thought these girls just liked her for her, but they were never around until then. So I told her that I thought the girl was using her, and she didn't really like that too much. And the other girl, I'm assuming she told this other girl that I said that, and she didn't like that too much. So now this other girl wanted me out of the picture, which she made sure I got out of the picture. My ex-friend told her the secret that she wasn't supposed to tell her, which was that I like girls. And this girl made my life hell. She tormented me. So much so that she told every single person she could to get them to do the same. And this is what I mean by the South is not very progressive. Because I was treated like scum. I was treated like straight garbage because I like females. I had people who didn't want to touch me. People who used to talk to me and hang out with me, they wouldn't anymore. It was bad. Whenever we would do groups things where we had to go out into the hall all together, this girl would throw things at me. Her and her friends would threaten me, all types of stuff. Mind you, I'm not built soft. Okay, I'm not a physical person by any means. I don't pride myself putting hands on people, but I will. Okay, so I will. Never been built soft, but this girl tried it. She kept trying it. So much to the point where so much stuff was happening to me because of this situation that I sought out help from the counselor. Oh, the fun counselor. Who told me that my liking of girls was wrong, and that she started to go in about the Bible and how it's not right and how I just need to stop. And I'm just crying because I'm like, now I have no one to go to. And fast forward, it just got bad. It got bad progressively to the point where an entire school was against me, bro. People who didn't even know me, when they would see me and they would get pointed out, oh, that's the girl. People would whisper about me. I felt like I had nowhere to run to, nowhere to be. The only place I felt safe was art class and strings. It got to the point where I didn't want to go to school anymore. And I couldn't tell my mom why, and my mom just wasn't trying to hear it. Like, she was like, you're going to school. She wasn't trying to hear none of that. So I couldn't tell her. Like, I just couldn't tell her why I didn't want to go to school, because I had already gotten bad reactions. Like, I'm not gonna have my mom tell me and then my mom hate me, and then now I'm not even safe at home. Like, even though my mom already knew, I had already came out, but like I told you, my mom thought it was a phase. It was all bad, just bad. Like, Taylor was all I had. He was literally my safe haven. Like, he saved me, and I don't even think he knows it. He saved me. Like, I feel like a creep if I just tell him out of the blue now, like that you saved my life. Like, I don't know how any other way to say that, but you saved my life. I used to dread the idea of getting up the next day and knowing that my mom was going to make me go back to that place. I used to dread it to the point where I would feel sick. I thought about suicide more than I had ever done in my entire life. Because I just couldn't fathom not being able to be myself, and me being me shouldn't have been that big of an issue, but it was. Eventually, it started to get to the point where me and this girl almost fought. And that is when there was a whole situation that happened that caused my mother to finally see what the issue was. And she finally found out what was going on. The ins and out of it is that the school thought that it was best if I leave the school. Not that they should all change. They thought I was the problem. And so I did. I moved here. And up until the time in which I moved, I hung out with Taylor more than anything. Like, I loved him. I still love him. I love him so much. Not like that. He is married. Okay, he is married. Not like that, but I mean like dearly as a friend, as like family. As I will always have love in my heart for him because he saved me. Like, he made me feel safe at all times, and you can't buy friends like that. You can't make something like that up. You can't make love like that up. But it is what it is. I don't. He is sub to the channel, and so if he does watch this video, thank you so very much for all you ever did for me and making me feel safe and not letting people treat me like garbage and not judging me. Thank you. You saved me. I eventually, after that incident, I no longer wanted to hide. I was very depressed, and that led into a bunch of other issues that will be a whole nother story. That's actually an upcoming story, but I just wanted to do this little quick one and tell you guys about it. I live in my truth to this day. After that, I no longer hid. I didn't care what reaction I was going to get from people. I realized that if people were going to hate me, they were going to hate me for who I am, regardless. And so, I'm going to be who I am. That's all there's to it. And so I am. I pride myself on living in my truth, and that's what I wanted to share, and that is why I wanted to share this story time in honor of Pride Month. That is late now, but it's always Pride Month when you proud. You see what I did there? You see what I did? But it's always Pride Month for me. So, I also wanted to clear up the little bisexual people. I now identify as bisexual. Back then, I just knew I liked girls. So, I later in life identified as bisexual. It isn't a recent thing. Like, I've always been who I am. I tell people that all the time. I just recently told my mom that I've always been who I am. But people always say that bisexual people are confused or they're greedy. They want the best of both worlds. They just want to date both. I don't date both at the same time. That is still cheating, and it is not the same thing. I'm either with a guy or I'm either with a girl. I do prefer females over males, but hey, everybody got a preference, right? I like personality. I always fall in love with personality. And that has been my downfall because I've dated some douchebags. But hey, haven't we all? Either way, I feel like living in your truth is really all you got in this life. All we know for all we know is that all we get is one life. And so life's too short to be living the way that other people want you to live and being who other people want you to be. Be who you are. Living your truth. Because it's beautiful. You're beautiful. There's nothing wrong with what you like or who you are or how you are. You are who you are. And there's nothing wrong with that. If we were all the same, what would be the fun in that? So, I just wanted to share this real quick. This was always super long whenever I did it before, but I realized that I should just tell it. So I hope you guys go forth in life and live in your truth and be who you're supposed to be Don't let other people tell you who you should be, because there's no rule for who you're supposed to be. None. None. And who you are, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing. There's not a thing wrong with who you are. Don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise. You tell them I said, they can square up. Okay? Like, they want to fight about it. I mean, they're not going to be out here telling my friend they can't be who they supposed to be. You right there, you and me, we friends, okay? And I'm not gonna let nobody disrespect you. I got your back if don't nobody else got it. So, thank you for watching this. And I hope you didn't get nothing else out of this. That you realize that you're not alone. And that we all go through things. And we all go through struggles. And that is the best thing that we could possibly give to one another. Is the sense of relatability. And knowing that we both share in struggles. And share in pain. And that we can heal together. Corny as that sounds, but we can. So, thank you guys for watching this, and happy late Pride Month. And feel free to share your story, or if necessary, preferred pronouns in the comments below. And introduce yourself if you're new and you're not shy, and if you are shy, don't be. I got issues too, but we here together, okay? And if you're not ready yet, that's okay too. You can do it in another one, okay? I'm always reading the comments. Feel free to share. So, I love you guys, and I appreciate all the support. And yeah, you can get nothing else out of this video. Living your truth. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you in my next one.